Hey guys, Laundrum here with another episode of the Londathal Journal. This is episode 3 by my count. When we last left the party, they'd slain an evil Kleintar aberration in the city depths of Belend, and then had been invited to dinner by a gnomish information broker named Anthony Duskflow, who knows Laenagus' father and seems to recognize Mephiance from somewhere. With the party gathered together at the Sleeping Minstrel, Mephiance shares a little bit of his backstory. He and Cricket are on the run from Carofir, seen here, who killed off Mephiance's family, the noble elven house of the Court of Ravens. Mephiance is the last surviving heir of that house, and Cricket is the last loyal Fae servant of the house. Mephiance is concerned Athne Duskflow may be after this information. Because Mephiance is determined to know what the gnome knows, Mephiance wants to go to this dinner party to question her without giving away too much information of his own, and is happy to have the party in case things get dangerous. But he does urge them to be polite and wary. The Summer Elf Paladin Laenagus actually admits he's never even heard of the Court of Ravens that Mephiance is supposed to have been from, but is familiar with this level of backstabbery and kind of takeover among the Winter Court elves. Urjan and Runner consider themselves out of their depths. But the Dragonborn Blacksmith is actually suddenly very happy that he made the gift for their host. When the party arrives at Athne's large but modest house, they are made comfortable to wait for dinner to be finished, and Urjan has a chance to present his gift of the blacksmith puzzle to his host, who is delighted and quite surprised to actually receive a gift. When dinner is served, the party eats heartily. Cricket especially literally chews a hole into the side of the roast boar that's set out on the table and then kind of pops out an eye socket a little bit later. She's a dainty little pixie, but that doesn't mean she necessarily eats dainty. And Laenagus asks questions about how Athene knows his father Edrin. She actually worked with Edrin as a agent of the Court of Lions, getting information and working to counter some skirmishes from other elven courts in the Summer Court. As the conversation continues and there's polite questions and this, that, and the other, the focus of the dinner shifts towards Athene and Mephiance going back and forth. And you'll have to forgive me, it's been a few months since this session was played out, but there was a lot of back and forth of Mephiance asking questions like, well, if I was this Mephiance that you're looking for, I'd really want to know who was actually looking for me. Oh, this Mephiance I'm looking for has quite a bounty on his head. Carofir of the Court of Owls wants him dead for some insult that was given to him, something I'm sure you never would have done. It was a lot of fun to do this back and forth with Mephiance, but unfortunately, I can't quite remember everything that was covered. It turns out that Carofir is sending out his own agents as well as bounty hunters in search of Mephiance after the 200 years that Mephiance and Cricket have been hiding in the material plane. And the bounty has actually reached to such a level that Athene has even been drawn in and curious about it. However, she's not a fan of Carofir or his actions and suggests to Mephiance that if he knows this real Mephiance, that he should keep his head down and not stay in one place for very long. Athene makes mention that she often does work within the Feywild and the material plane, bouncing back and forth, and might keep an eye out for useful information if the party makes a request of her or some of her agents that work in other cities like back home in Ningolin. With dinner and dessert seen to, the party makes their goodbyes and thank yous and such like that and head out into the brisk evening air of Belend. And immediately, Runner's street urchin instincts go wild. The party is being followed. Laenagus immediately curses that he went to dinner with only a ceremonial longsword and no armor, not even a breastplate or shield. Urjan is in a similar state, but at least his magical gloves allow him to conjure forth different hammers and great maul, so he's at least armed. So the frontline fighters are feeling at a little bit of a disadvantage, but the spellcasters are fully armed as always, and Runner is feeling quite comfortable in the city streets with so many things to hide behind and climb and get sniping perches from. With wary eyes open, the party actually hears things before they see anything. The sounds of unnatural groans and the sound of horse hooves on cobblestones echoing down the streets, when a dark figure steps from an alley. He promises that all will be spared if Mephiance just comes with him. The party, of course, tells him to take a long walk off a very short pier, and the mage disappears using a teleportation spell, plane shift specifically. And as he disappears, shambling skeletons and zombies step from the shadows. But these are minor undead that are basically a trivial nuisance. However, the wight atop a skeleton warhorse is a little bit more complicated, and then the zombie beholder really throws things for a loop. Mephian stays airborne for most of the fight, using fly to get elevation and stay away from the rabble, but it makes him a big target for the zombie beholder's various eye stalk laser beams and such. But Laenagus is in his element. No armor, that's fine. Divine Smite works wonders against undead. He's cleaving through them quick as he can. Urjan is knocking up a fairly substantial body count playing a defensive game, and Runner is on a rooftop literally sniping down on everything that moves. When the dust settles, the attack is over, and the party kind of looks around. We've got this under control, and then citizens start to emerge out of their homes, wondering what the commotion was now that it's all settled down. Party takes 2 looks around and says, "We're out of here," and beat feet back to the sleeping minstrel. Back at the inn, they make some discussion on what to do next. And the discussion is short and unanimous. In the morning, we're leaving this city. And that's where we're going to leave it for today. As always, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on the session, on the video quality. Again, we're playing with the resolution here. I hope this is a little bit better. And then if you have any questions about the lore or want more details about what happened in the campaign sessions, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer those questions. And I will see you next time.